As many of you know, I was recently asked to create a new mission statement for our synagogue. So, over the past year or so, I've spent a good deal of time thinking about what a mission statement should accomplish. A mission statement is supposed to be a concise statement that captures both an organization's values and its purpose for being. And admittedly, our TBS mission statement is probably longer than it should be. It's really more of a hybrid between a mission statement and a vision statement. But I do think that it accurately captures both our synagogue's values and our purpose for being. And I'm not going to tell you what it is now, but if you want to check it out, please look on the TBS website after Yantiv and Shabbos. But there was some discussion, both at the strategic planning level and at the board level, about what should and should not be included in our mission statement. And I'm glad we had those discussions because a mission statement is critically important to defining the identity of a synagogue. And the rabbis of the Talmud also had a vigorous debate over what the ultimate mission of Judaism should be. Which verse in the Torah best captures the essence of what it means to be Jewish? Rabbi Akiva said that it's Ve'ahavta l're'echa kamocha, the verse commanding us to love our neighbors as ourselves. But Shimon ben Azai said, no, it's even more fundamental than that. The best verse to capture the essence of the Jewish people can already be found in Genesis, the very first book of the Torah, which teaches us that each and every human being is created b'tselem Elohim, in the image of God. And those are two excellent options, but with all due respect to Rabbi Akiva and Shimon ben Azai, I want to offer a third option this morning. I think the best mission statement for the Jewish people is actually the Seder on Pesach. Because if you think about it, the Passover Seder really captures everything about what it means to be Jewish all in one night. First and foremost, it's structured around a book. And after all, we are Am HaSefer, the people of the book. The night of the Seder is supposed to be a discussion rooted in a Jewish book, of course, the Haggadah. And the Haggadah draws upon biblical texts and rabbinic texts and medieval texts and even modern commentaries. When we read it, we are literally reading our history. We are tapping into the very essence of what it means to be Jewish. The Seder has food. A man comes to see his rabbi, and he says, Rabbi, unfortunately, my wife is very sick with COVID. I don't know what to give her to eat. Please tell me, Rabbi, what should I give my wife to eat? And the rabbi says, give her matzah. And the man says, matzah. Thank you, Rabbi. That makes perfect sense. After all, matzah is the bread of affliction. What better food could there be to give to the afflicted than the bread of afflicted? To which the rabbi says, no. Matzah is just easy to slip under the door. But that joke aside, there is no holiday on the Jewish calendar more defined by food than Pesach. Not only the food we find on the Seder plate, but of course the meal itself is one of the most elaborate meals we eat the entire year. I imagine that many of you in this room have been thinking about food and buying food and cooking food for weeks, if not months already. And what could be more fundamentally Jewish than structuring an entire night and really an entire week around food? The Seder has ritual, from drinking 4 cups of wine to breaking the middle matzah to mixing our maror and charoset together. The Seder is an evening defined by ritual, performed in a very specific order. In fact, as you know, the word Seder literally means order. The Seder has music, from the 4 questions to Dayenu, to Chad Gadya, and Echad Miyodea. The Seder is suffused with song, just as our ancestors sang as they crossed the Red Sea at their moment of redemption, so too do we sing as we remember the Exodus from Egypt. The Seder has family. We sit around the Seder table with both our parents and our children as we pass down the story of the Exodus Lador Vador from generation to generation. And of course, there are questions for children to ask baked into the very structure of the night. The Seder is the definition of a multi-generational family affair. The Seder has compassion. Not only are we supposed to offer all who are hungry a seat at our table, but we also recite the famous words, Bechol dor vador chayav adam lirot et atzmo ki'ilu hu yatsa mimitzrayim. In every generation, we are obligated to see ourselves as if we were personally redeemed from Egypt. In other words, we are supposed to really strive to see ourselves as if we were slaves, which is the ultimate act of radical empathy. And finally, the Seder has hope. The rabbis teach, Matchil b'gnut u'mesayem b'shevach. We begin the Seder with words of degradation and shame, but we conclude with words of celebration and praise. We begin by discussing our ancestors' servitude in Egypt, and we end with the words, B'shana haba'a b'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. Structurally, the Seder reflects the trajectory of Jewish history. The Jewish people are always moving from choshech to or, from darkness to light. So there you have it. If I were going to create a mission statement to capture the values and the purpose of the Jewish people, I couldn't think of a better statement than the Seder itself. It has books, food, ritual, music, family, compassion, and hope. For millions of Jews all over the world, the Seder is the night of the year when they feel most connected to our tradition because it contains all of the hallmark elements which have defined our people for millennia, neatly packaged in a single evening. And may all of those things which have defined our people from the very beginning continue to define us for thousands of years still to come. Chag Kasher v'Sameach.